Hello, y'all. So let's have a conversation. Let's have a conversation. I took my contacts out and I have on my broke glasses. So if they look kind of crooked, that's why they're broken. But I just didn't feel like taking the time to put my new set of contacts in. So I'm just using my glasses for now. But one of the things I thought about that I'm sure a lot of people think about but just don't talk about or just don't bring up or just don't put out there is this. Family can be one of the most damaging, hurtful, discouraging, unsupportive units in the human cycle. And what I mean by this is you have mothers and fathers. Some of them didn't raise you. Some of them did. Some of them were in your life. Some of them weren't. For some of you, your grandparents raised you. For some of you, it may be your aunt. Or for some of you, you may have just raised yourselves and you were on the street. But every person has a parent or parents or grandparents or aunt or uncle that have these high expectations, right? They set the bar high and they tell you what they believe you should be doing in your life in the future, what you should be doing in your life now. They pretty much make decisions for you and then expect you to follow suit, expect you to cooperate. But they are so quick to forget that you are human, you are an individual, you have your own mind, you have your own thoughts. You have your own plans for your life, and you know what works for you. You know what makes you happy. But the things that they may want for you may not be for you. The things they want for you may not make you happy. The plans that they have for you may not be a plan that is fit for you or may not work out for you. So the challenge is stepping up to the plate and saying, hey, mom, dad, aunt, uncle, grandma, grandpa, this is my plan for my life. This is what I want to do. This is what I believe is going to work for me. This is what's going to make me happy. And then just do it and go for it. And the whole moral of what I'm saying is this. We have to stop trying to make other people happy. Because if we spend our entire lives trying to make other people happy, we are going to be miserable individuals. It starts with you. You have to start with you and say, I'm going to do what makes me happy, what fits me, what suits me, what's successful for me, what's going to work for me. Then you can go to your parents, your grandparents, your aunts, your uncles, or whoever raised you or whoever have these expectations for you or whoever loves you and want to see you doing well. Then you can go to them and do some of the things that could satisfy them after you are done satisfying you first. The common mistake we all make as human beings is we try to be people pleasers. Well, you cannot please everybody. That's just not the way the world works. That's not the way life works. You cannot please everybody. Not everybody is going to like you. Not everybody is going to be happy with you. This is something that I struggled with earlier on in my life. Early on in my life, I tried to make everybody happy in my family circle, everybody happy in my friend circle, everybody happy in my job circle, what have you. And all I did was just make myself miserable, set myself up to be disappointed, set myself up for heartbreak, set myself up for okie dokes, those types of things. And then I realized over time that life is what you make it. And God put you down here to explore and to experience and to learn and to teach and to create based on your terms and what makes you feel happy and what satisfies you. God did not put you down here to be miserable. See, this is the common misconception in most religions, especially the religion that I was brought up in, Christianity. is that if you don't do what God wants, then you're going to hell. That's a very depressing, scary, fucked up way to live your life. I mean, that's a life of depression, a life of fear, a life of misery. Who the hell wants to live that way? I certainly don't. God is a God of love, just like he's a God of war, just like he's a God of discipline, just like he's a God of defense. God did not put you here for you to be miserable, people. He put you down here to serve a purpose, and then you leave. But while you are serving that purpose, he wants you to be happy doing it. He does not want you to be miserable. God did not put you down here to be miserable. Now, me saying all this does not mean we are free to go sinning and free to go killing people and free to go holding grudges against people and free to go just do all these horrible things. That's not what it means. It just means do the most positive thing that you can do for yourself that makes you happy, that fits you, that suits you at the end of the day. It's all up here in the mind, and we must recondition ourselves to rethink about the most important things and stop trying to please people, stop trying to please the world, stop trying to conform yourself to other people's expectations and other people's opinions and other people's views. Just stop doing it. Live your life. You have one life to live in this world. Live it to the best of your ability. Live it for you. Then you can live it for others after you have finished accomplishing your goals, your wants, your needs, your happiness. Accomplish that for you. Be here for you first. There's nothing wrong with doing that. Nothing wrong with doing it. You can be selfish on a certain level and then not be selfish on another level. It's a balance to all of this. It's a balance to all of this. And I don't mean narcissism is acceptable. That's not what I'm saying. There's a lot of narcs out there that believe everything they do should be about them. And that's the wrong way of thinking. That's the wrong way to be. Narcs have a high imbalance on the other side of the weighing scale. And then you have codependents who are unbalanced on another side of the weighing scale. You have to be balanced, people. Be balanced. I'm not saying being selfish in a narcissistic way, but be selfish in a healthy way. And just know that if your family members really love you and care about you, they will come around. They will come around. They will support you eventually. It's going to be tough at first. There are going to be some disagreements at first. There's going to be no calls at first. You know, you're going to get the silent treatment, probably rolling of the eyes. Fine, let them do it. Let them vent. Let them finish getting that out their system. And then when they're done being mad, they'll come back around. I promise you they will. For prime instance, my sister and I, we haven't had the best relationship as adults. In our early adulthood, we were really, really close. And now in our latter adulthood, we're not seeing eye to eye on things. We're very distant toward one another. We don't really speak a lot. And when we do, we show the love, but at the same time, there is no connection there. And when I say no connection there, meaning, you know, I live all the way in Texas. She's still in California. We're very far apart from each other. There's not much that we can do to help one another except talk when we can. And then when we both were in California, the relationship still is what it is now, just very distant, you know. I try to connect with my younger sister, but I just have to give her the time to come around in a way that all these little things that she believes matters, once she finally realizes that those things don't matter anymore, then we can get to a certain position in the relationship or a certain level, and then we can move past a certain point. And it's like that in today's time. You know, you're going to have family members who are stuck in their ways. That's just what it is. Even when you read the Bible talks about family stabbing you in the back, not being able to trust them, even family being enemies. So these things are not uncommon. They're actually very common in human life, and we just have to know how to balance it, how to deal with it, and how to navigate through all of these different channels. Another thing I want to address is I have spent a lot of my middle age adulthood chasing money. I've done this. And I've realized that if you just slow down and stop and give yourself time to think and reflect and figure things out, you will slowly start getting to points where you find things that will work for you and won't work for you. Because you don't want to spend the whole rest of your life working for someone and you're unhappy and you're miserable, right? And so I have finally realized that there are certain things that I just don't want to do, and I'm just not going to do it. And I'm not going to be chasing after a dollar, and I'm not going to be putting myself in these unhappy or uncomfortable situations or unsatisfying situations just to pay a bill. There's ways to get bills paid and you can still be happy. And that's what a lot of Americans do. We throw ourselves into these jobs and these careers, and we're still unhappy because we have not found what our true purpose is. We just throwing ourselves into things that we believe we should be thrown into because our parents told us to do it, or because society says that we have to do it. And we're too busy trying to fill in other people's expectations instead of filling our own expectations. Find a job that is for you. Find a career that is for you. Find a business that is for you. Find a line of work that is for you. Do you, people. Do you. Okay? I also believe that, and I didn't believe this at first because this is what I was taught. Excuse me one moment. Grabbing some napkins because my nose is a little runny. My allergies are real bad. Sorry about that, people. So yeah, spirituality is it's a very beautiful thing, but a lot of people don't understand it. A lot of people don't have the full grasp of the experience because they have not gone through a certain experience. They have not transformed their minds. They have not changed their lifestyle or their diet or their friend circle, or they have not changed certain aspects of their lives to help them get to these certain points. And, you know, tradition and upbringing is a huge roadblocker in that, because we all believe in what our parents taught us to believe or told us to believe, right? And I, for so many years in my life, believed in Jesus coming down to save. And now I'm starting to finally feel like and believe that that's not going to happen. And I also believe that Jesus is not God's son's real name, because the letter J is only 400 years old. So when I researched that and found that out, I'm like, okay, if Jesus walked the earth over thousands of years ago, 2,000 years ago, how come his name is Jesus in this Bible here that we read, but the letter J did not exist 2,000 years ago? So that's a clue right there that Jesus is not his name. It's not his real name. So then once I found that out, I'm like, okay, I started having more questions in the back of my mind. Well, why is this and that is that? And well, what is the meaning of this story in the Bible and the meaning of that? And so I started slowly like peeling the onion, you know what I'm saying, so to speak, and started really getting to the deep root of things that I was taught that is a lie, and things that I was taught that is partially true and partially false. And I started finding out certain things. And the whole point of what I'm saying is this: who are we, or who is anyone, or who is any group of people to tell the next group of people or the next person that if you don't practice Christianity, you're going to hell? If you don't practice voodoo, you're going to hell. Or if you don't practice Hinduism, you're going to hell. Or if you don't practice Islam, you're going to hell. Who is any of us to say this? When first, it's our job to research these religions and research these stories and names in these books that we read to find out what is the actual truth to all of this. To be perfectly honest with you, I think it's all relative. I think religion is all relative. And then I think outside of religion, you get to the more authentic idea and image and spiritual experience of human life, spiritual being, and soul, right? You have the soul, you have the spirit, you have this body, and then you have what we call earth, this life here on earth. And those are all experiences. Those are all levels of experience. And I just don't believe God is going to create a people and then let them live out their lifespan here on this earth. And then when they pass away and they leave the body and they die, and then their spirit goes on to another dimension, right? He puts you in hell. I just don't believe God to do that. God, why would God make a creation to destroy it for no reason, or for no logical reason, or for no justifiable reason that makes any sense at all? Like, why would God punish you in a way that doesn't make any sense, right? So then, check this out. We're made and we are full of flaws and we're not perfect. But why would God make us with allowing us to have flaws and be imperfect, and then set us up to go to hell? What kind of God is that? God is not that kind of God. See, that's the lie that we were told and taught in Christianity, that you have to be basically a robot. And like I've said in my other videos, no robot behaviors over here. I just don't support the robot behavior. God made you to be an individual. You are not a robot. You are an individual being. You are a spiritual being. You are a unique being. You are a unique person. God did not make everybody to be the same. It was not God's intention for us to just be robots, okay? Society has told us this lie that we have to be black, white, gray, red, blue, green. No, you be you. You be what God made you to be. So I no longer believe that if I make a mistake and I don't say, Jesus, help me, I'm going to hell. I no longer believe that anymore. I used to. I no longer believe it anymore. I believe that everyone has a spiritual journey, a spiritual path, and has a life journey. And us living life here on earth is a lesson. That's what I truly believe. We are living life here on earth and learning a life lesson. We are learning an overall bigger picture of a lesson. And we learn inside that big picture, we are learning many, many, many lessons inside of that big picture of a journey. And then when you sum it all up into one big summary, it's a lesson. So that's what it is. I just don't think that God wants us to walk around here worried about going to hell, worrying about, if I did this right or did that right. I have spent a lot of my time thinking that way in my younger years, being paranoid, petrified, thinking that every time I make a mistake, I'm liable to go to hell. And I have to be this perfect being, this perfect human being, this perfect person. And that's not That's not how I was designed to be. Because if I was designed to be perfect, I would be perfect, obviously. But I was not designed to be perfect. So I'm not, and since I was not designed to be perfect, why should I waste all my time worrying about trying to be perfect if that is just impossible? It's impossible. Even in the Bible, when Jesus took his last few breaths, he said, Father, why hast thou forsaken me? Is that perfect? No, because in his mind, he's thinking, you know, my father, he's forsaken me. He's forgotten about me. He left me. He abandoned me, right? Well, if he thought perfectly in that moment, he wouldn't have asked that question. His perfection would have allowed him to believe and know that his father never forsaken him and never forgotten him, right? So that's the imperfection right there, right? So even this character that they named Jesus, that his real name is not Jesus, I just don't believe that after doing my research. Even he at that moment experienced an imperfection in that very moment. He was not perfect, but they tell the way that they tell his story and the way that they tell his legacy, they say that he was perfect. Well, let me ask y'all this. What is perfection? This is going to be a whole nother video for another day. We'll do a video on the word perfection and perfect. And we're going to dissect this word. We're going to talk about it. And we're going to open it up. And we're going to explore this word, okay? But that's the pressure that we have all been put under. All of us human beings. Men, women, children, grandmothers, grandparents, brothers, sisters, uncles, aunts, cousins, friends, associates, partners. We have all been put under this pressure of being perfect, but there is no such thing. And if it exists, we have the wrong way of thinking about this word. So that's all that I want to give you guys for today. Just food for thought. Think about what I said. Like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Write down your comments below under the description box. I'm open ears. Please share this video with others to enlighten others, to help others, to encourage others. Please hit the like button so that we could get more content of this video's content out there in the YouTube algorithm so that it could be more seen. And I'll catch you guys later on my next video. And remember what I said. No robot behavior. You be you. You be yourself. You be this individual that God made you to be. And you don't have to conform yourself to no robot way of living, no robot way of life. Catch you guys later. Peace. Later.